Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to CAIR's Daily Dose. I'm Danette Zagari Mass, nonprofit attorney for CAIR and host for this evening. This is a nightly program, and we hope that you'll join us every night, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. sharp. We provide this program to you. We expanded our services at CAIR to include this program to bring you closer to the people and to the stories within our community during this global pandemic and trial for our community. Right now, nearly 635,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 reported within the United States alone. We're at near 2 million globally. Deaths, 28,326 lives lost in the United States to COVID-19. Today, we're going to focus our program on people serving other people. Philanthropic giving. We're going to talk with Sister Tahani Jabarin, who is a social services director in the Virginia area. And then we're going to speak with the CEO of LaunchGood, who's going to tell us about crowdfunding and how LaunchGood works to address some of the traumas and the concerns, especially during this time of COVID-19. So first, I'd like to introduce Sister Tahani. Sister Tahani, I hope you're there. She has a passion for serving others and has consequently dedicated her life, mashallah, to bettering her community. She provides any and all aid that she can offer in her community. She was raised in Palestine and with an incredibly diverse community now here in the United States and the Northern Virginia area. She's been part of Dar al-Hijra team since 2002, long time, and she's currently serving as the director of the social services department at Dar al-Hijra. It's an enormous community. So it's this heavy job. With almost 20 years of experience in social work, she has directed special attention in recent years to empowering the women of our community, as she strongly believes in the vital role they play in society. She's been working with other organizations and using her characteristic skill of foresight to launch programs aimed at helping women attain self-sufficiency. In addition to empowering women, she has an ambitious vision for connecting all the interfaith elements of our society so we can have a strong, diverse community. And she's happily married, alhamdulillah, with 5 children, in addition to all the other work, mashallah, that she does. So we really look up to you. We welcome you. How are you doing tonight, Sister Tahani? Are you with us? There you go. I can see you. Can you hear us? Okay, Sister Tahani is having a little bit of technical difficulty. We did a dry run before we came on, and she was we could hear her quite well. We'll give her a few minutes. But one of the things that Sister Tahani does is a really unique service in the Muslim community, and that is Dar al-Hijra runs a food bank, but it's not just any food bank. It's a drive-through food bank. So you can, if you're in need, you can come to Dar al-Hijra in your car. You don't need to step out of the car and receive services. Over 50%, mashallah, of the people that the program serves are people of other faiths, the other 50% Muslim. So it's really beautiful that, they're using their resources to serve, the whole community. And I had an opportunity. I really wish that she could get on. We could hear from her right now. I know she's trying to connect to hear us, and I hope she does. Because I really do want her to talk about this program. All of the volunteers are coming out. They have the equipment so that they can protect themselves from COVID-19 and be able to bring the food. And actually, I found, can you hear us, Sister Tahani? Keep checking in with her from time to time. One of the beautiful things about the program is that it actually predates. That was my Don bell going off. It actually predates this COVID-19 crisis. So they already had it ready to launch, and they were able to mobilize it to help people during a pandemic. So really, really couldn't have come at a more perfect time. Oh, I hear you. I heard a little squeak there. Are you there?
Okay. Yes, I got disconnected. I'm sorry. So it took me a minute to
I was talking about your program.
I didn't hear anything, but alhamdulillah.
It happens, alhamdulillah. I was being Sister Tahani here, telling all about your program, but now you're here and you can deliver the news to us. Fortunately, I already spoke with you, so I heard all the great things, and I was telling our audience about the drive-through food bank, which is extremely unique in that it existed prior to even this crisis, you were able to mobilize it. I've already mentioned that, mashallah, more than 50% of the people that Dar al-Hijra serve are people of other faiths. So tell us more about the program and your involvement in it.
Assalamu alaikum to all. Thank you so much for inviting me this night to join and talk about what Dar al-Hijra do. To be honest, when they tell me talk for 5 minutes, out of my excitement and how much we do and offer to the community, I definitely would go over the minute. So please enforce to stop me. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on and on. Alhamdulillah. Subhanallah.
We're happy from you.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Wallahi, I'm still here at Dar al-Hijra. Until now, we did not go home, myself and the team. We are still preparing for tomorrow's distribution. Tomorrow is the 4th or 5th week since COVID-19. Well, I can't keep track of the weeks anymore.
We're losing track of the days.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Since we closed on Friday and we've made the hard decision of really closing the center, it happened to be a Friday morning. And mashallah alayhum, the board and the executive team, it was not an easy decision to move forward with and just, close the masjid. Subhanallah, over 4,000 people who come to the masjid on Friday. This is their day to connect. But alhamdulillah, with all the blessing with all the good and the bad that this COVID-19 is bringing to this community, to me, I am an optimistic person. I see good in everything, alhamdulillah. With what's going on right now, I feel that this brought us closer. It really brought us closer as families, as partners, as, subhanallah, even opening our eyes to closer look to what's needed. Keep in mind that Dar al-Hijra Food Bank existed for a long time. When I joined Dar al-Hijra back in 2002, I used to serve up to 45 families back then. So you can imagine now we have, subhanallah, over 800 people registered in our food bank. So we started, alhamdulillah, small within the needy families, the widows, single moms, divorced, and alhamdulillah, we grew and now we see ourselves, and I see, alhamdulillah, Dar al-Hijra. I'm proud to be a part of the team of Dar al-Hijra. And alhamdulillah, our mission is to reach out, to make sure that we answer any call that comes in.
How about the need right now? Do you feel that it's increased during COVID-19? And how is your team keeping up with that demand? And what are you asking for? What would you, if you could get anything right now, what would you ask of your community?
I want to thank our community. I want to thank the generosity that came from our community. I want to thank every member, every individual, every soul out there who really responded. Subhanallah, subhanallah. We received many donations from various people, different places, different states, not even our community here. We've seen a great response, and mashallah, that moved me. And subhanallah, out of my heart, I want to share so much to the point that I get stuck with what I want to say. So, Wallah al-Azim, you asked me about the team. We're still at Dar al-Hijra, preparing for tomorrow, 6 a.m. As much as the distribution, 6 a.m., we are here, alhamdulillah. We used to before, of course, and the masjid will be open. So people used to just come and would sit in the women's lecture hall. We have an open room, and they would they would know the drill. They would get their number, wait until 9 o'clock when we open the door. We do give priority to elderly, even before COVID-19. Then they would receive at 8 o'clock, and they would just move out. Subhanallah. Now with this, the first thing that happened on determining the closure of the center. Friday morning, I personally was so worried about the food bank. I'm like, okay, so we're closing. What's going to happen now? What about the food bank? When I see an increase, from the past few months when people are, when they heard about if you file for an assistance, you're not going to get your legal documents and all that. So there was a fear already in existence before COVID-19. And people who are already eligible to go and apply for SNAP benefits, they were afraid to go because they want to maintain their status. So that was something that brought fear. And thanks to the society that, subhanallah, the craziness of this world, they deserve the services and they were preventing themselves from going. So when they come, a family of 7, and you give them, mashallah, stretched vegetables along with halal chicken, bread, whatever that we can. And the need was great. Now, speaking of COVID-19, subhanallah, that's another door.
I see the mask. I think you're wearing a mask. I mean, how do you protect yourself? This is a time where people are isolating themselves. They want to get away from each other, right?
Yes,
Everybody, are you afraid? How about
Huh?
those who are volunteering with you, working with you? What are you doing?
Wallahi,
Protect
wallahi,
yourself.
alhamdulillah. It took us a while, by the way. The first week I did not put a mask on. I just, alhamdulillah, as all of us, would, we felt the security of Allah. Inna alhamdulillah, Allah ma'ana, كل شيء كويس, not even bother with anything. And I would just wash my hands whenever I can. But the second week it became a little more serious. So I said, no, I have to actually behave and I have to follow the rules because, other people would, take me as, someone who works here and I don't want to mislead anyone. So alhamdulillah, now all the staff, mandatory. So I just took my gloves off because all day I had them on. I only have one staff 6 feet away from me. So there is no worry. My little new adventure is this. It's a to-go mask.
A lot of a friend of mine who wears niqab was telling me, mashallah, I have a lot of companions.
It became to use. It became to use.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, habibti.
So,
and also,
you had mentioned though earlier when you and I spoke about the need for more volunteers, more people.
Yes.
And if more people show up, how can they be assured that they'll be safe, that they won't bring the virus back to their family, but also do as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed us, and really tighten our belts and help during difficult times.
Yes. When I came earlier today to check on the volunteers, the response is great from our volunteers, but we're technically overwhelming them because they do work, on Wednesdays, packing. You're talking about 2,200 fresh produce, vegetables only, that was ordered by Dar al-Hijra. We do not rely, of course, on partners only because everyone's struggling. So we definitely tripled our budget to triple. Like we used to order vegetables prior to COVID-19, 600 to 700 per week. That's besides all the donation that comes from different partners. Now with the COVID-19, we increased it to 2,200, only vegetables.
Wow.
I'm planning for next week 2,500, only vegetables.
Tripling produce.
Yep. Yes.
And how are you getting resources for this?
The funds?
The financial support. Do you need the financial support for this program right now?
Of course, and that's what I mentioned at the beginning. We thank our donors, generous donor, mashallah, they responded to the call. Of course, Islamic Relief gets a big, mashallah, applause because they moved and they're always ahead of the game, mashallah, with big grants, trying to check on us on a regular basis to see what is it that we can maintain. They did deliver hygiene kits and that helped a lot, of course. Alhamdulillah, other partners, I'm afraid to miss anyone, but really,
I don't want to put you on the spot because, some people don't want to mention.
Yes.
Mashallah. So, but before we go, I want to be able to mobilize the help that you want. And I know you had wanted to mention people showing up and volunteering. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. Alhamdulillah, I want to also share with you that we have a sewing academy prior to COVID-19. So of course we had to pause all the programs. And mashallah, we had 14 semesters so far. 12 sisters graduate every semester. And that's after completing 100 hours of sewing. We give them a sewing machine free to take home as a gift at the end of the graduation. So that's prior. It's like, subhanAllah, we feel it, but it's going to come. One day it's coming, and it did come. So now I received a sample from the class, from the last class, and they came up with a nice way. And this one here, she added more of a fabric to make sure that it's easier to breathe. I'm not sure if, so, and this one as well. So different, what do you call it?
Nice.
Different designs to stay in the loop, inshallah. And this will be provided to our volunteers. So security, safety is our top priority, of course, to maintain safety. But I encourage everyone to come out and to schedule, not just show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you'll try your best to make them safe.
As much as I love to have more volunteers, but we're trying to organize the whole level of volunteers also present here at Dar al-Hijra, due to the safety and the distancing, of course. So we ask any interested volunteer to register. I did share with you the link for them to register. And once they hear back from us, we'll give them the time for them to come. So I hate to get,
Go ahead and tell us that link one more time.
The link.
For those who want to volunteer. We have about 1
more minute. To be honest, I can't. I didn't eat breakfast this morning, no lunch. Been working all day. Wallahi al-azim, my memory is, alhamdulillah.
Okay.
But if you can maybe share it
emailed
with
me
them.
right before the show came on, so I wasn't able to check it that soon, close to the time. But inshallah, we'll get it out there. We'll let people know.
Hijra.org. If they go to the website, yeah, hijra.org, inshallah, they will see all the links, and inshallah. I want to also answer one of the questions that you previously asked. How much of increase did we see during the COVID-19? The first week, which was, I believe, the first Thursday after the closure, that was March 19th, if I'm not mistaken. Alhamdulillah, I did share with you a link of one of the videos that were taped that first day. Response, of course, we thought maybe the first Thursday we would see maybe 10 cars, but still, we're still going to open. And we announced it's going to be open 9 to 11. And subhanAllah, wallahi al-azim, by 6:45, I believe the first car came in. And guess what? It has a handicap sign on it. I'm like, no, come on, handicap, and you should be home. Yeah, you shouldn't be out on the street. So the team were ready to, and we did not, open at 9 as we mentioned. We were open and ready to receive, because I know in previous, years, people do not come on the time. They come after Fajr and they wait in line. So we were, alhamdulillah, with all the preparation. And then the first 10 cars were, I think by 7:15 in the morning. And the majority that day, elderly. You're talking about the older version of the, subhanAllah, with the handicap sign. And they are in seeking some food. That gives us an idea, yani.
Alhamdulillah, that day 3. That the community thinks that Dar al-Hijra is a community to rely on, because of people like you. Thank you for taking the risk that you're taking every single day. It speaks so much of our deen. Bless you, may Allah increase you in rizq in this life and in the hereafter.
Allahumma yataqabbal.
Thank you so much, Sister Tahani, for sharing your time with us tonight, because I know you're incredibly busy. You're still at Dar al-Hijra right now.
Alhamdulillah. It's my second home. Even my kids, Mom, are you at Dar al-Hijra? They already know.
MashaAllah, you're giving them a good example to lead by. Okay. Alhamdulillah. We'll see you again, inshallah, soon. I live in this area, so I hope I get to meet you in person one day.
Habibti, jazakum Allah khair for the beautiful work. CAIR is one of the, mashallah, known out there. May Allah bless you all. Yahmikum.
Ameen. Inshallah. Inshallah. I'm going to come from Baltimore over there, inshallah, one day to see you.
تعالي أهلا وسهلا نتشرف.
Okay. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring on Chris Abdurrahman Blavet. He is a passionate Muslim American entrepreneur committed to building up the global Muslim community to reach its full potential. He was born in Malaysia, but raised in the United States. He became Muslim at 16 and studied engineering and educational leadership at the University of Michigan. And he's worked as an Intel engineer, an award-winning film producer, founder of patronicity.com, and winner of the Magic Johnson Social Entrepreneur Prize. He lives in Dearborn, Michigan with his wife and 2 kids. Where is this Renaissance man? MashaAllah. You do everything, Chris. How are you today?
I'm good, alhamdulillah.
Good.
But I can't beat that sister, mashallah. She's too warm and welcoming. I'm going to seem like a brute compared to her.
No, she really is a special sister, mashallah. May Allah keep her going. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, great.
Good.
We are doing just fine. We had snow, which was unexpected here in Michigan today, but it mostly melted, so that's okay.
The April surprise, right? I know I've got some vegetables that I'm too afraid to plant because I'm worried I'm going to wait till the frost is over. So inshallah, we'll have a good summer and get some warm weather. And hopefully, as they're saying, maybe it will even help with this kind of crisis that we're in. We're about to move into Ramadan. Our masajids are closed. Give us some good news. Tell us about Launch Good. Tell us about crowdfunding. I was on your website earlier today. I took your quiz. You have a really cool quiz on there. I got a 5 out of 7. So I want to.
That's pretty good, actually.
Give me a retake. But anyway, enough about that. Tell us what brought you to create Launch Good, and how does crowdfunding work?
Okay. As you could tell, if anyone actually paid attention to my bio, my journey is like all over the place, as a lot of entrepreneurs are. Roughly what I'll say is in 2010, as a film producer, we had a film go to Sundance, which was a big accomplishment, but we needed money to finish it off. And we ended up turning to Kickstarter, which is pretty well known now. I mean, several $1 billion, mashallah, has been raised through Kickstarter for all sorts of creative and artistic, entrepreneur projects across the world. But we were the very first Muslims to ever use Kickstarter. Kickstarter is not a Muslim platform, but as filmmakers, it was appropriate for us. We were the first Muslims to use it, and I just fell in love. I just thought, wow, if we could have a Muslim Kickstarter or something like that, it would be very powerful. I always believed in the power of storytelling, and not just for others. I mean, we really got to do a better job of telling the story of Islam and who Muslims are, and CAIR does a great job of that. But even to ourselves, you know, and a lot of times as Muslims, we're stuck sometimes in the past. We talk about, well, you know, what are Muslims doing? And we say, well, you know, look at your algebra classes and your chemistry and your universities and your hospitals, modern medicine. But it's like, well, that's great. I enjoy my cup of coffee, but what are you doing now? You know,
Oh,
it's
no,
not just about the past.
I hope my kids aren't watching the show because I've given them that speech like 1,000 times.
Well, that's
Oh,
better than nothing, right? But we have our motto at Launch Good is build an inspired future. So we're definitely inspired by our past, but we are focused on the future. And so, you know, I started working on that idea for Muslim crowdfunding platform. It took, believe it or not, 3 years just to get it off the ground. 2013, it went live. I picked up a couple of co-founders along the way, Amani Kalawe, who's in Virginia, actually, and Omar Hamid, who is now in Australia. He's a global nomad. And it's just been kind of a labor of love since then. And it was a slow start, but it's consistently growing. And so like we, you know, by the end of the first year, we'd raised about $1 million. That grew to 3, that grew to 10, that grew to 25, that grew to 50, that grew to 100 million. So alhamdulillah, now we're more than 100 million raised for campaigns across the world, which is really cool thing about our platform.
say that one more
And
time. How many?
100 million. Actually, it's 107 million today.
Wow.
And if anyone wants to see that journey, we have a little bit of it captured in our 100 million celebration. So it's launchgood.com/100. So launchgood.com/100. But that's the story of Launch Good and how I got into it, at least the condensed version.
So yeah, I took your quiz today on crowdfunding, and I learned a lot. Honestly, that was a really cool quiz. So if I'm a person, let's say hypothetically, and I know of somebody or many people in need, and that's not getting the attention that, you know, they're not getting the resources they need, and I just really want to connect the resources, you know, to the people. How could I use Launch Good to do that? And then if you could also tell me, you know, really what is Launch Good doing right now during COVID-19? I'm sure you all are, I'm assuming you're busier than ever. How are you really being able to address that, and how is crowdfunding solving some of these problems?
Yeah, those are the right questions to ask. I'm actually going to answer in reverse order.
Okay.
So what are we doing for COVID-19? We launched something called Outsmart Corona. And the reason I'm doing this in reverse order is because it's actually going to help me answer your first question better. So this is our Outsmart Corona page. I don't know if people can see.
Yeah, I can see it. Great.
The screen. But you know, this is a hard time for our community. By our estimates, around 70% of operating budgets for our masajid and Islamic schools are raised in Ramadan itself.
Yeah.
Especially for our masjids, and that's not an option. And we would kind of complain about, be like, oh, I hate how they lock us up during Taraweeh and force us. You know, they do this like Taraweeh shakedown, and like really just they won't even let you finish your prayers until you give them money. But there's a reason. These people are not greedy. They're not getting rich off the masjid. It's hard to run the masjid, and they don't know a better way to raise money. And that's not going to be an option this year. So it is hard. It's going to be difficult for our communities. Online is kind of the only option. Not necessarily Launch Good, but definitely you're going to have to raise money through some sort of way that people can donate online. And so we put this page together called Outsmart Corona. And we've got like these 4 main resources we're offering right now. The first of them being, we're going to make sure that our net fees are 0 for people. So if you're doing a crowdfunding campaign on Launch Good, yeah, we're going to guarantee that your total fees don't exceed the credit card fees, which is about 3%. And we think that's going to help people a lot. But it's more, I like to say it's a honeypot, meaning it's a way to attract people, to get them to pay attention. Because once they get to this page, I mean, hopefully they're excited about this, but that's not going to help you raise 100% of your goal. And this goes back to your first question. How do people actually raise money online? Frankly, it's a lot harder than people think. For some people, it's not. Like Imam Khalid Latif did a campaign recently to help raise money for burials in New York City, and he literally raised $100,000 in 5 hours.
Wow.
I'm not Khalid Latif. You're not Khalid Latif. The
Nope.
people that sit on the board of our masjid are not Khalid Latif. So how do you actually really raise money if you're just a regular person? That's what we put this page together. So when people come here, we have a whole list of articles. It's funny we have Darul Hijra here because we actually have Darul Hijra featured as a case study.
Cool. Look at that.
So
we just had her on.
You did, right? They did an
Wow.
amazing job fundraising. They got $21,000 in just 24 hours, Giving Tuesday
And
a
look
year
what they're
ago.
doing with it. MashaAllah, they're really building creative solutions to
Oh, it's great.
problem
And
of hunger.
so each one of these are different, right? There are many ways to do your crowdfunding online. It's really hard for me to give one that can apply to everybody. But
Mhm.
each of these articles we have here, and they're very short, they take about 4 minutes each, provide a little guidance. So, the first key, which is pretty universal actually, is just build a really, really great fundraising team. That's what Darul Hijra did. Some people do phone trees. That's
Mhm.
phenomenally successful. Some people get matching funds. That's like a no-brainer if you can get it. Some people do these things called micro fundraisers or use
Real quick,
influencers.
matching
Yeah,
funds is when you go through a corporate sponsor or somebody, maybe even a really a generous donor, and
that's
they'll
right.
match up to the amount that you get from crowdsourcing.
That's right. We encourage a challenge. In fact, so usually communities have, one or two or three uncles or aunties that are quite generous, quite wealthy. And there's usually plant them in your fundraising dinners, like, okay, Amo, when we start doing the fundraising, I need you to give 25,000, So now what you need to do is like, okay, Amo, I need you to offer 25,000, but as a challenge match. So
Mhm.
that means like, hey, we need to raise 50,000 and we already got 25,000, but only if we can raise 25,000 in the next, 3 days. That's what this masjid did in Dearborn. They got $100,000 as a match, but they had to raise it within a week. And
Mm.
within 5 days, they raised $100,000. Now, if
Wow.
you look at everything else on their page, it's
Mhm.
terrible. Like it's very poorly described. They don't have great pictures. They have the videos in Arabic. Like it's like all the wrong things. But
Is
they
it
had
okay
a
to laugh
real.
about that?
Of course, of course. Our name for this, if I click on the article, is it's a funny name. Now this masjid is actually quite nice. They're building it.
Pretty.
This boomer community just schooled us all on how to beat coronavirus with your masjid for your masjid fundraising. I was very impressed.
That was a
Yeah,
brave title. Wow.
it was a brave time. They haven't complained yet. This is their campaign. But it just shows people the reality is like team. You have to have team, but then a lot of different ways that people can raise money. And this is just one of them. And so we have these short articles. I don't want to take up all the time. We do offer free consulting. So if
Okay.
anyone wants to actually talk to us directly, we literally have people across the globe. So this is a 24/7 schedule, any day of the week, any hour of the day, where we can talk to people, give you unique advice that's tailored to you. And we also have a daily tips newsletter. We're only doing from now until Ramadan.
Mhm.
Tomorrow we kick off a series of webinars
Okay.
where we'll be going through each of these 7 articles with guests from that community,
Great.
including Darul Hijra, inshallah. And so that's a little bit about fundraising online. Like it'd be just too hard, I think, to tell you everything
Sure.
in this short time of like what you need to do. But yeah, we're willing to people really want that advice. Just set up a consulting call and we'll give you one-on-one in touch, and inshallah.
Well, I learned a lot again from just going to your website and finding out, how successful campaigns are run. Some of it's intuitive, but other aspects of it are not, and you really bring that expert knowledge to people, like you say, who just regular people who want to make a tremendous difference, connect the need to the resources. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, make this endeavor more successble, inshallah, and keep bringing generous
Thank
donors
you.
and big
I do
hearts
have
to this
one other
project.
thing because I realize it's already 8:30. But I'd be remiss to not mention one other thing we're offering right now in Ramadan.
Sure.
So Ramadan's obviously like the time of generosity for the community. We have something called a Ramadan challenge we do every year. So everyone can get involved. I hope you joined in that. It's if you go to LaunchGood, you can't miss it. It's all over right now. But it's a way to automate your donations for the 30 days of Ramadan.
Ah,
Yeah, it's really nice. Alhamdulillah, it's really easy. Set your goal like $10 a day. But then if you're doing fundraising on LaunchGood, we're also providing you a platform to get your campaign out there in front of tens of thousands of people every day. So I hope that we can be helpful for people through Ramadan as well. And then it's kind of fun. You know, everyone loves how their baby looks, but let me give you an example of how it looks once you're
It
on the
does look nice.
inside. Yeah, and once you're
I'm
on the
not just flattering,
inside,
but honestly, it is a beautiful platform, mashallah.
we this is the Ramadan challenge. Like once it actually starts, this whole page is going to fill out with all sorts of stuff. But you can even give it a try right now to the global dhikr counter. So you know, say Alhamdulillah, 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 and this is like I did 4, but the whole global community has done 153,000 since we launched this a couple days ago. So launchgood.com/Ramadan, people can come and join. It's a great way to be involved as a donor in Ramadan and get blessings throughout the month and connect to a global community. And if you're doing any fundraising, it's a really, really great time to do fundraising. And inshallah, we can help connect you with global donors from across the world.
Inshallah. Thank you. It's so convenient for the donor. Mashallah. It's nice that, you know, we all get on the computer to do our work or to scroll the internet or do some internet shopping or whatever it is that we're doing. And, you know, we purify our wealth by giving if we have rizq. So it's a wonderful service. It's a beautiful platform. I really hope that people
Thank you
take
so much.
advantage of it. And I know that you're busy. I can tell from all the projects that you introduced tonight. So thank you for giving us your time,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Really, really appreciate it. We are going to wrap up our program now, and I'm going to talk about giving, also giving to CAIR, Council on American Islamic Relations. You're here, you know our mission. We're a Muslim advocacy and civil rights organization, and a lot of times people don't understand really the relationship, or maybe they don't understand completely how, you know, economic impact, your donation to CAIR, how it has a tremendous economic impact on somebody who's receiving that help. So CAIR does a lot of employment discrimination cases, whereby, you know, people have lost their jobs, their whole livelihoods, because of their identity as a Muslim. And we're very effective, mashallah. We help people with immigration issues and, you know, a lot of traumas that have, you know, economic impact. And so when you have professional advocates on your side, you know, attorneys on your side who know what they're doing, who do it day in and day out, they can restore a sense of normalcy, and also restore the income and really build, you know, empower that whole family. So there's a direct connection between, you know, giving and then also the economic benefit of those who receive. I'm obviously not a professional fundraiser. You don't put me on the program to fundraise, but I can't say enough, honestly, about the direct, you know, impact of your dollars and giving to this organization, and really the organization really being a great steward of those resources and making sure, maximizing every dollar to make sure that we help as many people as we can. And speaking of help, if you you know, have a case of discrimination, if you believe you've been discriminated against because you're Muslim, you know, please go to our CAIR.com website and fill out, the intake form. An attorney will review that and be in touch with you if you live in a state that has a CAIR chapter. Also go on our website, www.cair.com, find the CAIR chapter there. And then if you live in that state, you want to contact your chapter directly. There's amazing resources across our grassroots network. And so thank you to all who donate to CAIR. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. I hope you'll come back tomorrow night. We are having a great program, Weathering the Storm, Cultivating Wellness During Corona, with wonderful co-hosts, CAIR Florida's Communications Director, Wilfredo Ruiz. And we're going to have an expert, Dr. Camila Rashad, president of the Muslim Wellness Foundation. I've been to talks that she's given. She's a powerful speaker. It's going to be a great night. So I hope you'll join us 8 o'clock tomorrow. Until then, take care and Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, Danette.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on.